Okay, we are halfway through, so we need to get to the deep dive topic. So I talk about AI quite a lot, and I get excited when I see high value opportunities for AI in my clients and projects. I've seen firsthand that AI is not just hype and that it can dramatically change how businesses operate. But it's fair to say I am somewhat in the background and I don't get much time to be hands on with the tech, despite my best efforts to carve out experimentation time. And for that reason, I wanted you guys to hear from someone who is working with AI, building AI tools day in, day out. And the first person I thought of was Peter Zentai, or Z, as I know him, and he kindly agreed to come and speak today. And Peter and I first worked together a few years ago when his team created a business intelligence platform for one of my clients. And then we worked together again when his team integrated AI into one of my clients' key processes, which now automates several thousand quality control checks each month. So, as I said a moment ago, really seeing the actual value of AI. It's not theoretical. More recently, though, Z founded We Robots AI, who've developed an AI knowledge assistant, which is a SaaS product, as well as offering AI consulting to businesses in need of those AI services. So he really knows his stuff. So I'm delighted to introduce Z and his talk titled "The Value of Integrating AI into Small and Medium-Sized Businesses." So Z, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Graham. And just to bust kind of first expectations, my slides are not really technical. I'm more like envisaging you guys are not technical either, and it's trying to talk about. Well, let me show how and what value AI could bring for SMBs and the technical challenges. So let me share my screen. Just a sec. And a little bit of an intro, but Graham already did much of it. So I'm Peter Zentai, and I'm kind of serial technology entrepreneur and engineer myself. So We Robots, my latest kid, is my fifth company, and what I was always doing in the past 25 years is try to establish a startup or a company around a technology idea and try to get in this idea into the market one way or another. So what we have now, We Robots, we have small, medium, and large companies adopt AI on an engineered way. So we are not the theoretical consultants. We are the guys in the trenches doing stuff. And the core principle really is pragmatic working, AI solutions versus theoretical promised benefits of AI. And during the last 2 years, I managed to get through a couple of success stories and nice results. So today agenda is guys pretty much kind of covered a couple of my slides, but that's good because this means we think the same thing. So just a quick run through on the agenda. I'm gonna walk you through the ways for AI integration in SMB in terms of the typical means or approaches, and ultimately the conclusion we already arrived to pretty much is that AI integration leads to or should lead to production and productivity and efficiency boosts that ultimately can lead an SMB for a faster growth trajectory. For example, because of less working capital would be needed, but for example, because adopting AI now is a big, I guess, kind of field equalizer. So you guys possibly see why I'm seeing huge struggle larger companies do around AI. So yeah, it's for SMBs much easier proposition. And then ultimately how this generates some unique IP as well, not just efficiency. So these will be my talking points. And first is really just a run through on the typical ways that you can do an AI integration work in SMBs. And one thing to just raise that I'm not seeing your faces or your raised hand. So please, Graham, if someone has a raised hand, then just break in and I'm stopping and answering that question.
Yep, I will do so.
So ways of integration, and I think we are going from the simplest to the most complicated. I guess optimized SaaS-powered daily work, using ChatGPT is possibly the easiest, lowest hanging fruit of, or seemingly of integrating AI in your company. In a lucky case, in a couple of weeks, you actually can get on it. So that's kind of what we possibly all do to a certain level. Now, the next one is what I call AI automation, the category which isn't really, kind of solving things end to end, but tries to automate a step of the work. So that's what I call an AI automation category, as Graham alluded to previously. It's speeding things up, and then the no-code AI automation is a way which is pretty much possible now, where you just click your solutions through on several web interfaces, integration platforms. So it's nothing new to the no-code world, but AI now is pretty much there to be used. So no-code automation is a way. A coded automation or coded AI automation is, and so disclaimer, I'm not really into no code for certain reasons, which possibly a different conversation. I'm more toward the engineered coded solutions for longevity and kind of growth perspective. So a coded AI automation is a next step that actually is a few months of work now, and then comes, I think, the one of the major impacting potential, building complete AI-powered productivity tools, which solve an end-to-end problem on novel ways. So that's several months. And then AI-powered products and offerings is kind of the most elaborate tier, and you provide something for your clients, or the main delivery is basically something that has AI behind. I think that's not really typical for not really part of my SMB view. It's technology companies or bigger companies building tools that are primarily sold as an AI tool itself. So these are the potential ways that you can go through, and each is a bit more complicated and costs more than the other, and poses more burden on the company actually. So let's just briefly go through on a couple of those. And as I said, and I think we all agreed and concluded, so possibly one of the obvious and most important value for an SMB in AI now is productivity and efficiency. Basically gaining an order of magnitude bigger efficiency or faster times to deliver things, or doing things much smarter and with better outcomes than before. And so the first way to integrate AI is really have an AI-powered workforce. And this was what we talked about before I started in. So have your people, all be up to date as much as possible to use a plethora of AI tools really that are available now. So ChatGPT is really just one of the most, I think, known, but I think it would be impossible to list even now after just a year and a half the list of offerings there are for any kind of scenario. And my view on on an AI powered workforce and using AI during your daily work is, if things are anyhow information or knowledge related, so it's really wide range, then using AI 99% brings in efficiency. So not using AI is being basically or missing on something and actually getting at the back of a race. So I don't think that using AI now is a nice to have option. I honestly believe that having these AI powered people of yours is a mandatory thing now. Just because other companies with similar skills, similar goals, they also have the opportunity, and it's relatively straightforward to get onto. So that's why it has a huge impact overall, because everyone can relatively easily start accessing these tools. The entry cost for SaaS productivity tools like ChatGPT doesn't require a huge investment. And literally, seeing through the many use cases in the past years and seeing through how we work, I'm almost saying that if there's a work step where somehow AI is not involved, but it somehow involves information, knowledge, creation, then it's not an efficient process. Now it's this AI-powered workforce, I guess. So have your people proactively use AI for everything. So basically, eradicate robotic work elements and be maximalist on this. This sounds achievable, but this basically is very hard. Even not so fully complete AIization of the workforce or tasks or the workflow that's happening. So it's incredibly complicated compared to what first view would be. So like you just pick the tool, you show the people how effective it is, and then they will be effective. It's not just the always comes up this thing, is there a prompt engineering need today? So do we have to understand how to prompt AIs to be able to effectively use them? And my view is less and less true that you have to, but still you conceptually have ideas what you want to do and how do you want to achieve these things. And so ultimately, I've seen on myself that this transition is not as straightforward. So just to give you an example on and this was my example. So like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, basically when we started this new company, and some of the guys I knew from earlier, just basically we came together and we explained how we work. And there was this one fellow, one of the founders, who just explained to me that he isn't anymore building software on the conventional way, as in planning the code itself and then starting to build from small blocks, and so ultimately creating a solution with some Googling and ChatGPTing around. But what he explained is that he entirely is reliant on an AI-powered creation flow where he rarely touches the code itself. He just talks to the Copilot implementation of that day, and I was very confused, and I wasn't approving the idea. Even a year and a half ago, I was saying that, Mickey, that cannot be right? So it's, how do you know it works? So all this sort of, I was really used to build software on the conventional way, and then just pull in AI on on the nifty parts, but definitely not to kind of do everything through AI. And in a year and a half after, I'm completely on this way, and I'm finding it somewhat ridiculous how I was really suspicious, even though I was using AI by then for years. So it's a super hard mental step, and I'm having the ambassador to a rescue, and this is what you also talked about, that you have to have smart people in the company who is able to lead this effort and proactively show and train. So it's just exactly because it's so endless, the opportunities of tool selection and all the things. So you will need proactive help and support from someone who has the most gist to the topic. So it's not at all easy. And when I'm writing typewriters to word processors, I do remember those, not because I was transitioning, but I do remember my father, and for him the necessary transition to a word processor meant also to have a computer knowledge, which he didn't have at that point, but he had to, and it was horribly complex for him because conceptually he really didn't like anything about the digital way of things. He wanted the paper stuff. So for years my father typed out everything into first in a typewriter, and when everything was right in a typewriter, and he typed everything into the word processor piece as well. So I've seen this mental blockade, how hard this could be to unbuild. So AI-powered workforce disclosure, so it's seemingly easy to achieve, really not that easy to achieve, and because of that, simple no-code AI integrations, which are the next step or next tier you could possibly go after, might even be a simple, a simpler thing to do. So basically, with no-code AI integrations, you really can build up rudimentary or even effective automated processes, possibly trying to optimize your current ways of working. And so this, I'm not, again, going into particular vendors, but the list of potential AI platforms and AI integration platforms is kind of growing, possibly minute by minute. And I think it's a good way to start. So achieving some results with these approaches can give, I think, a good indication that if it's a good direction at all to go or not. And so they are still, a no-code AI integration solution is still approachable for an SMB. So it's a couple of grand to couple of 10 grand investment with potential results at the end. Still, even though it's an easy thing to do, and why do I say it's a simpler start than an AI-powered workforce? Really, because the simple no-code or the AI integration automation projects are typically easy to just if you have a problem that you identified. So a robotic element in the daily work, typical is communication, processing, extracting information. So it's relatively a straightforward way to achieve what's needed, but it's a small scope solution. So obviously just always for a particular integration or automation element. But even with this, it gives you a good easy start, and usually then you hit walls. So 85 to 90% number I read it. So with this approach, typically the results are not as satisfactory. So they are good enough, but you cannot ultimately get to this is a multiple experience. Ultimately get to where you want to, and it has, I guess, some future-proofness problem as well, because all these no-code platforms are so opinionated and depend on their vendor. So likely you are running into bigger challenges than what my preferred approach would be is a coded solution. And also with these approaches, you are not really generating a significant IP. So even if you just speed up a couple of your processes, the ultimate solution and application is not a significant piece to be valued in itself. Your boosted efficiency will already have an extra value if you do this pass when you have evaluation, but it's not really meant to be a significant IT IP anyhow. And for example, I've said a couple of examples, but this is where you can simply automate events and incoming emails and messages and have some processes wired up that ultimately create a task for someone or create a message in a internal communication. So somehow do the repetitive tasks that would require humans on this way. Now, my preferred entry, or no, let's not call it entry, but the first, I guess, the solution that is, I guess, seriously benefiting and SMB is a well-delivered coded AI integration automation solution where things are really built for the purpose and they reach this necessary 100% or 99.9% reliability and efficiency. And integrating AI with this way really have benefits in terms of future-proofness or company IP. However, this is a serious effort, nevertheless. So have something as a coded solution built by either your engineering team or an engineering team. If you don't have one, then obviously, and why would you have? So typical SMBs, they don't have their own software engineering team, so they would need to look for some help. So it is a more substantial investment, obviously, the coded approach, and we'll need people and kind of skin in the game from the SMBs on a much more bigger level than even this no coded solution. You would even need someone who actually understands a proper software development process in-house, a CTO or a fractional CTO. So, however, I really believe that this is the solution that starts delivering a reliable value, which is again on efficiency and automation related matter. So, for example, with and this we have implemented and really ties into what was the conversation earlier. So with this coded automation solution, we did implement, for example, a kind of end-to-end system for a customer, all around customer communication on many channels. So when it is about to pick up social media, when it is about to pick up all communications that are emailed, the transcribed support and other tickets, having an automated AI solution that was event-based, was able to react or was intercepting new signals from the data side of things, either a new email or a new message or a post. These solutions that we built were able to build up this necessary data view of things, so extract what's going on sentiment-wise, topic-wise, and then build based on that data packing, was able to build up a truly personalized communication and offering layer. And with a not so substantial solution in terms of this was 3-4 months development time, the company gained a extra level to understand what's going on and a truly kind of working way of seeing the reflection or the effect of changes in how they do things, what do they say, what do they communicate, and also based on this integration, the true personalization was a reality. So the single customer view is possibly, as we talked about it in the very first point, the single customer view is a key to this, and with an automated coded AI solution, complementing and building this single customer view where everything is about the customer is there and easy to access for anything. this would have been impossible, I guess, without AI. So that's on the integration side or automation side, and really, I guess the top tier in this efficiency game is having a fully bespoke, fully built and integrated productivity tool or multiple productivity tools based on AI integration. So this is when you're not starting to kind of, your motivation isn't just to speed up things or try to make processes less taxing or less human heavy or just better or faster, but if you start kind of thinking on from a tooling perspective, you can build up with this way completely end-to-end channels and solutions on a way that's completely new. So it's not anymore just speeding things up, but building novel and more involving, more effective, more scalable ways to ultimately achieve the desired results. And this again, this is something that takes a lot of time and needs a serious understanding from the SMB side on what they are doing. So this is anything from 100,000 or 200,000 to $500,000 or even higher price tag around this element. However, the results are really effective. So just the case study for this, or how do you what exactly, for example, a complete bespoke tool set would look like. So we had the city posters project, and this is a made up name, so I'm not sharing real customer names. And the exercise kind of translated into a working capital question, and that's my slide. Grow with less working capital, which you would possibly believe, or this means that try to spare on people. That's growing with less working capital, so that you have less people actually in your business, or you don't need to hire that much people. So kind of you could interpret this from a dystopian AI view, that AI actually kills jobs and whatnot, but really the thing is not that, and I will explain why. But so grow with less working capital is not anything dark in that sense. The motivation was never really for us as well to kind of stop workplaces or free up workplaces and then replace people with AI. But again, back to the City Posters project. So it's a media agency, and they had this really compelling service feature that if someone wants to buy anywhere in the world or specific locations a city light, these big several square meters or often digital panels to display whatever you want. They provided this service, which ultimately meant to be able. So they are a media intermediary agency. They buy in a wholesale from multiple sources, and then they resell it to smaller amounts or in smaller quantities to actual media buyers. So what their project or idea was, that they wanna really scale up their business and provide a solution where they would be able to open to the entire world, so process requests from anywhere around the clock against any media offers around the world. So the project meant to consume thousands, or if not tens of thousands of product offerings. Every digital panel in the world, well, not every, but every dozen, or they are sometimes 50, are owned by a company, and they have their own way of advertising their digital panels. And each product description, each description, each specification is very unique. So you imagine you want to buy some media, and you have to really consume 10 to 100 to 100,000 of different specification. Some is PDF, some is a PowerPoint deck, some is just spreadsheet or a mixture. So it's a lot of work just to understand what's the media offer. And then this company needed to create a product inventory from this so that then they can use this product inventory to actually sell off from it on a creative way. So every offer looks like almost like an infographic. So it's really a highly visual output on the ultimate product. So there has been a calculation on, actually this is not the calculation. So they are operating or were operating on this model for a couple of years on a very small level. Basically, creating a sales offer was something 2 days, possibly more. Sourcing, inventory, and sales offer, these were individually lengthy processes. Well, you can understand. So process all the diverse unstructured info. Each time it's a different place where you find the actual size, the population around, the actual map, code, or location. So sometimes there's just casually a street name there, and you have to look the location up on a Google search. Now, so it's absolutely a tedious process. So what we have built up is an AI automated process for the main steps that were really human intensive, and ultimately with this we managed to pull down a sales offer for below an hour, 50 minutes. But it actually meant then on a working capital and product pitch and investment perspective. So ultimately, this was to start this new growth element in the company. So the company was looking for an investor. However, their original business plan, so they wanted to create something like 200 or 300 sales offer a week. Yes, a week, which would have taken like 100 employees in the company, which was absolutely unable to fly as a business plan. With this AI powered times, basically the new business plan is now much more serviceable and much more financeable. So ultimately, with this AI power, the company was able to pitch for a new project plan, which required just an additional 10 guys to be employed, which means that, as I said, it's not like AI and using AI kind of stopped having 80 work positions in the company. These 2 new positions that becomes available because this thing will become a reality soon. This was made available and possible by AI. So the idea of doing something that wouldn't scale really because of the nature of the business they are doing, and wouldn't scale because it's too human heavy. Now that apply AI, find the robotic elements, and then suddenly you have a business case that is serviceable, financeable, and has a huge success to actually deliver what it wants. So kind of as a summarization, I guess AI gives SMBs so a value on top of, or the summarization of these values is that it's I believe it's a factor that gives SMBs a bit similar success rate than to large companies. At least everyone is about AI now, and large companies also, large enterprises are also on the AI adoption curve. But I've seen it a couple of times, and I guess that's a really commonplace that for them this is way more bigger a problem than an SMB. If you just consider the state of data for a large enterprise, getting their data in shape is just an order or 2 order of magnitude bigger effort than for an SMB, especially if you are prepared for it. So for an enterprise, getting your data can be just in itself, getting your data in shape just in itself a couple of years of exercise before you can go into. Whereas with a more agile approach, SMBs I think, have a better chance to utilize AI earlier in a bigger extent. And then obviously the work done with AI power can give you kind of an edge. So you would be able to do now things that you weren't. With AI, you are able to provide a bit of higher quality service in many aspects. So you can create nicer sales pitches and propositions just to say something, or be better in customer service for on a level of that other large companies would be provide. So it is because of the tool offering on the market, it is really straightforward, for example, to just integrate some AI powered customer service solution and kind of start offering what big companies are offering for a couple of years now. So I believe that AI now is easier for SMBs. That's my experience. I've seen much more impacting results in obviously in their scope in SMB space than in enterprise space, to be honest. And lastly, with all these, how AI adds another layer of value to your company. So not just that it makes you more efficient so that you can operate from less money or put your money back into different, other growth goals, but AI and the AI related integration or tool work or productivity tool work can definitely contribute a large part to your company IP. So what I'm saying is AI delivers IP, I truly believe, not just if you have a large language model of your own. That positively would be an insane proposition anyhow for an SMB to start thinking of building their own AI models. There's no need for that. However, being smart and understanding the best ways of utilizing AI for your particular problem and implementing it in a decent way is, I believe, is a valuable IP and is an IP multiplier, or sorry, valuation multiplier for your company. So back in the past, I had a couple of valuations going through. I've seen a couple of companies of my domain were getting a bit of a higher valuation if they had their own everyday used IP, a tool, a methodology to do their work. And I think this is with AI now is again the same thing. So if you have an effective, novel, and well executed way of having an AI integration in your company, then the surrounding work is really substantially valuable. Important things though to kind of keep in mind when you look at this is that AI solutions can be really bound to a particular vendor or model, which really hinders this IP value. If the solution itself is just basically a new user interface on top of ChatGPT, that's obviously less valuable than if your AI solution is a tool or product that is able to utilize, for example, any of the trending AI models. So that's really important to keep this AI agnosticism in mind, and that's also for future proofness. So, and then one important thing to really keep in mind also is that it's good to have an AI integration or tool solution in your company and really does the job, speeds things up. But it's even better if these tools collect necessary telemetry and data that you can actually make AI smarter and that's my last slide. So even though I said there's no much point for you as an SMB building, large language models, really this is the several million to several 10 million pound of effort just to build a simple model adoption, and using small language models or large language models even to adopt to your scenario based on successful operation of your integrations and tools. That again, I believe is a significant IP element. So making your company ready for the next step actually. So now you are, with this, you will be, using AI in an integrated way. But if all the learnings from using AI is actually smartly captured, then you would be able to create an even smarter AI, which is called transfer learning or distillation, which is a substantial value again. And so if with this, you would be able to have your own AI model IP as well, again, a huge boost in your valuation. Simply because what you have is not anymore accessible to anyone else. It's specific to you and does the best way of operations in your scenario. So these were my slides. Hope they made some sense. And I'm happy to answer some questions.